Hey, it's Uncle Joe at Uncle Joe Hikes. We're here at Unicoi State Park. Gonna do the Smith Creek Trail again. It's been 5 years since I did this trail, and that was in colder weather, as I recall, too. It's gonna look different. 5 miles one way, so we'll see how many extra steps there are in that 5 miles as we tackle a 10-miler today. So much of this first section here will follow the road along the campground here. This is basically how you get into your campsites. Take a break from that to go up this little draw. But once we get around a little bit further around, the road's going to peel off to one side. We're going to go the other way. So it's not a big backcountry experience, but you will be up in the woods and away from the park for the majority of this hike. Yeah, I had a little bit of blow down or deadfall there. Looks like they got that cleared away. Hopefully we don't see too much of that. Well, if it's cleared away, it's okay. A little bit of undulation through here, but we know we're going to have a bit of a climb coming once we start making our way out into the backcountry, if you will. So much older blow down here. We get a chance to walk on some pine straw, which is nice, always. Yep, we take a single track here. That, who knows where that goes. By way of information, the road into the campground hooks out from here, so it's going to go off to our left. So from here on out, we're going to be kind of diverging from the campground and from the park proper, more into the woods. So, and that to look forward to, which is nice. Sun's kind of killing it, but there are some rhododendron blooms. Actually, one's right here. So they are starting to drop too. So some of these have been here for at least a week probably. I saw some back at the trailhead too. So hopefully we'll see more. This old bridge seen better days. Well, we have a long, kind of more or less straight section here as we hike up this creek draw. And it'll do some turning and meandering up toward the top of the draw, but for now, it's relatively straight. Built warm today and muggy. It's going to be in the 90s back home, so we're going to be in the 80s here. It's already pretty warm. But we'll keep moving, as Metro would say. Well, something ripped the canopy open here. Some people looks like went up that way. It's hard to say. The trail's right there, so some people are coming across here, so we got to find a way. I doubt the camera's picking it up, but straight up there is a really tall cliff, kind of a rock face. The creek is running down. This is a side creek. I can imagine that's a pretty good looking waterfall when the rain is pouring, rain runoff's coming down over. We're kind of getting up toward the end of this draw. Getting at least up to the higher elevation points of it. So it's opened up a little bit. It's real lush back that way, and it's a little bit more sparse. up this way. Well, something surely calls that home. You can see where he's been digging. We're still making our way up this draw, so I fight to remember it. It's a little bit cooler. There was a little bit of a breeze that cooled it off a little bit, but I'm losing a lot of fluid through humidity and sweating, so keep fighting our way up. Lots of ferns up here. Still a little bit lush, but it's opened up a little bit. It's all quiet. This couple coming down, they said I was the only other people besides them on the trail today. So it's gonna be quiet out here. It's wearing me out. It's a long climb up here, and we're not even halfway. For 5 miles, it's not easy getting up here to the apex, high point. Well, that looks like it might be maybe the old road bed, I don't know. Makeshift campsite, maybe? Yeah, I think it's an old road bed. We're still working our way up. Up, up, up. There's some sassafras. That one's got some little, I don't know if that's fungus or what that is. We're kind of a little bit of on a little bit of a tongue here. We're going to go up as the ridge goes up. We're going to skirt under the lip here in a bit. So we've got a ways to go yet before we get to the falls. Bear right in front of me. Hey, bear. You alone? You see him right there sniffing the air? You all by yourself, buddy? Yeah, he doesn't seem to care that I'm up here either. Which is not a good sign. He should be running. Let's do what I can to scare him, I think is probably the best thing, so he's not. Hey, buddy. No, he ain't scared at all. He could care less that I'm up here. You can see him meandering around. There he is. He's a little guy. There might be another one around here, I don't know. Hey, bear. Hey. Yeah, he doesn't care. Could care less. This is the most time I've spent looking at a bear in the wild, that's for sure. He just does not care that I'm here. He's still just, he doesn't care that I'm here. He's like, hey, man. He's like, do I look worried? He's just wandering around. I hope the camera's picking it up. He's just right there. So he's a lot closer now. He's probably 50 yards. And I've been sitting here just running my mouth to see if he would leave. And he's like, no, I'm not leaving, Joe. I'm sorry. You're here in my place. He's working his way actually more or less up this way. So I should probably get moving before he gets up here and crosses the trail. We have a little problem. Oh well, onward. Yeah, it's a little worrisome that he didn't run off, because that's what you want him to do. My guess is that, being that we're in relative proximity to Unicoi, he's probably seen his fair share of campers and hikers, and sadly may even go into the park to forage and rummage. So I was just another camper as far as he was concerned, and he didn't seem concerned at all. Don't like to see that. I really want them to be afraid and run. So we just came in here. There's a bit of a tongue out there, point. I remember that. I remember this saddle too. So the bear, he's back around the trail, probably a quarter of a mile back that way. So yeah, he was not the least bit worried about me. At one point he was actually walking toward me, which you hate to see. You really want them to be afraid. You don't want them being acclimated to people, and he just was not only was not worried about me, but just didn't pay me any mind, which in a way is good. He didn't look at me as somebody who might have food for him or anything like that. I got up the trail a little ways and found a little piece of a stump and threw it through the woods, and kind of hoping he would just, like, you know, take off running. He just took a few, he kind of jumped, and that was it. So he's not worried about people, and like I say, you hate to see that. But on the other hand, he's not worried about me. I don't think he's going to follow me or anything like that. So not worried about that. I will have to come back through there, so I'll try to make some more noise, even though I was making noise then. And he's like, why are you making all this noise? I don't understand. But yeah, I don't think he's anything to worry about. So I didn't feel threatened at all. It was actually kind of nice to see one and have it, you know, it's a two-edged sword, right? You want it to be afraid of you and leave, so it's not a problem. On the other hand, you want to experience, you know, some time with it, you know, safely. So that's probably the most time I've ever spent with a bear in the wild. And I felt like I was safe. If he had kept coming toward me and really started acting aggressive or anything like that, that'd be different. But he never pawed the ground or clicked its jaws or any of that type of stuff. You know, didn't behave in any way like he was, you know, angry or felt threatened. So that's good. Anyway, I'm taking a little bit of a break here. I need to start taking more breaks, especially here in the summertime, because it's just so warm. It's been cool here for the last few minutes. And this saddle hopefully means that we'll get a breeze here and there. We're getting a little bit of one, but could use a little more. Anyway, we'll take a break here and we'll keep moving on. Make our way up to the apex and then down and around to the falls. All right, this is it. This is the apex, the high point of the route. It's only about 2,600 feet, but when you're starting low, this was a climb. Up that creek draw was no joke. And it was only a couple of miles. But man, it was a slog. I don't remember it being that tough, but it don't change the fact that it was. I've already seen 2 rotten trees pushed over, about as big around as my calf, and now this rock. So my guess is, given that I saw that bear back there too, it could be that the bears are coming through here and turning stuff over, looking for grubs. So I'm gonna make my way down around this deadfall here. Old rock, etc. Yeah, I imagine that's what that is. They're digging, looking for food. As we meander our way through this rocky area here. Yeah. And that looked like it had been turned over several days ago, so I don't think we got one out in front of us. Well, in my haste to make a little extra time, I twisted my foot back there. Not so much my ankle as my foot. I buckled the front half of my foot under as my ankle went off the side. I think it's okay. It's not hurting me at the moment, but it may just be numb from the flex. It may start hurting later. Oh, it ain't hurting. I'm gonna keep walking. So, trying to make up a little time. As I said, I'm trying to make up some of the time I lost coming up that draw. This side slope is undulating off and on. Right now we're in kind of an up and down portion. So, I know we have a creek up here to cross. When we crossed it before, I was with the hiking buddy. I want to say it was in cold weather, kind of. I remember the leaves being down, and I remember it being a bit of a slog across that creek. I want to say ankle deep, a little over ankle deep maybe, and kind of wide. So we'll see what it's like when we get over there. It may be dry, who knows. We could still hear the falls actually roaring across the way. Sounds like wind rushing, but I'm pretty sure it's the falls. We heard it a lot more prominent back there, I guess, as we kind of got more in earshot up that draw where the falls are. So anyway, this trail is it's got a lot going on in its 5 miles. So keep that in mind when you come up here. Well, here's one of the creek crossings. This is not the big one, but it is a creek crossing. And it's not dry, so odds are the next one won't be. Well, the bad news is it's not dry, which is actually good news. But it's also not deep. Not like I remembered it before, so that's good. We can walk across there without any real issue. Just pick the highest rocks and it'll stay dry. That little salamander just took off right there. All right, that's all she wrote. We got to go up around a big bend here, and then that'll take us to a long straight. We'll kind of parallel the drive in, I think, or the walkway in, and get up to the falls. Well, that's interesting. Most people are coming down this way. I actually went up around the tree. It gave me more rock to keep my feet on and more ledges and that type of thing. We're still working our way around here to the falls. As I nearly fall myself. You can see where all these leaves have been turned over. Some of that brush pushed down the side slope. You see more here. My guess was probably hogs, though I don't really see any snout holes. A lot of times they'll root down really hard. It could be turkeys too. Hard to say. It does kind of look more like a scratch. I don't know. My vote is probably hog. We can hear the creek roaring down there. So we're getting close. Get down here with all the pedestrians. Impromptu trail there. That may go down and cut. You can see a lot of trails being cut through here to get down to the walkway and creek and all that. We're going to stay on the trail here. About twisting my ankle again. That's the third time, as I know that I'm getting more fatigued than I'm probably feeling. It's really important to place your feet well. I placed it on a stub and I didn't even see the stub. And about the size of your thumb. I just sat down on it and there went my foot. So anyway, we're getting closer. We can hear the pedestrians down there. So we'll get down here to the falls, take us a little break, and enjoy the scenery. You see it way up yonder way. And the second falls there. You can see water coming down a slab across the creek there too. All right, we're headed back. I'm actually going to take a break up here. Wasn't really a good place to back there. Most of the benches had people on them. Anyway, we'll find a good place up here. I was talking to some kids about the trail. Mentioned the bear I saw. I had that footage on the iPhone, showed it to them. Somebody else heard me. They wanted to see it. The bear was kind of a hit with everybody back there. So that was nice. I look beat, and I ought to be. Air got real still for a while. There's a little bit of a breeze now, but it was still for a little while there, and it was just sucking the energy out of me. We got to get up here to the high point, and then once we get there, we'll have largely a downhill slog through the drainage, creek drainage. So it won't be too bad once I can get up there and start heading downward. It heading upward, no fun, despite what you may have heard. Well, I haven't filmed as much coming back. It's not like you haven't seen it, right? This is a log we sat on right after we saw that bear, or not long after. So we'll be passing through that area here in the next 10 minutes, maybe. And hopefully he's gone. He's probably making his way down to the campground where he can get something to eat. We're going to make it down to Old Gobi so we can get something to eat. Well, I made it through the area where the bear was. I did a lot of talking, a lot of loud voice talking, just to make sure that he knew I was coming. The sun's still up pretty high. There's a good 3 hours or more of daylight left. But when you get down behind, like on a side slope, then it gets a little dark. So we may be in the dark, not, you know, proper dark, but it may get a little dark down on this creek draw. I don't know. We got plenty of time to get back to Gobi, because I think the solstice was yesterday or day before. So it's not going to get dark till like 9. So we got plenty of time. Nice and bright right now. We go through these ferns. Like I say, last time I was here was with a hiking buddy, Carlos, and that group. Sid was with us too. Sid's Tips. Check out that channel. He reviews all kinds of stuff. He was on that hike too. I think he filmed it for his channel. And you know, it was a good hike. 5 years ago. It's hard to believe. Time flies. A lot of this down along the creek draw, I don't remember as well. I don't know why. Maybe I blotted it out, because that hike up the creek draw was pretty tough. But we get to go down it now. We're almost back to Old Gobi. Won't be long now. I want to give a shout out to my cousin Dennis. He's going through a rough time and had to have a little surgery. Had to take time out from growing his flowers in his garden. He has got a green thumb. That's not why they did the surgery. No, that's a good idea. They should take a sample from that green thumb and figure out what's so good about it. Anyway, thinking about you, cuz. Well, there's Old Gobi waiting patiently. Hopefully nobody broke in and got my clackers. I'd like to see how many times I can clicky clack them things before I cold cock myself. I think my personal best is 2. Smith Creek Trail done. 5 miles out, 5 miles back. That was a slog. It really was. I'll put the particulars down below. That creek draw, it's just a long continuous climb. Just a little on the rough side, but it's good to see it again with the foliage on. Though it was a lot hotter. I think, Carlos, you were onto something hiking that in the cold weather. Anyway, we're gonna get out of here and get something to eat.